Everybody, it's Chris from Dixieland Farm, and broke my wrist. This is my temporary cast. Do you see it? Ah, there we go. So, new cast from the orthopedist. This is how it happened. Take a look.
I love having both my arms working. I love my arms working and my wrists. I'm gonna get them. Die! No! Oh!
Interestingly, from the orthopedist was different than what the ER doctor said. So the ER doctor said, "Oh yeah, you cracked your distal radius perfectly, straight across, cast. This is picture perfect. This is you'll be great." Orthopedist said, "Oh yeah, you totally need a plate. This thing," and he shows me on the X-ray. Well, this thing's bent here, this thing's bent here, that thing's bent here. You are too young at 50 and as active as you are, being a farmer and, to have this set wrong. We have to go in and put a plate in. So it's a permanent titanium plate. They'll piece it together, and then basically that's my internal cast, right? The plate will live with me forever unless it causes an infection, which they'll take it out, but it's very rare for that to happen. So while I was there, I'm like, give me a new cast because my elbow it's so itchy. So they gave me a new cast here. It's actually split, so that way you can move a little bit with the swelling. So it could swell up and down. So technically I could just take this off and put it back on if I wanted to. Also nice not having the sling anymore. I had to have the sling because they had, cast me all the way to the elbow and it was bent. And now I'm like, oh, that's the stuff. Oh, yeah. So, I go in for surgery in a week. They'll put the plate in. They cut through this side. They will put the bones back together. And then I'll have a cast for a few weeks. And then if I'm good, they will take me out of that cast and I'll have a splint. And so the splint will keep it motionless, but I can at least take it off and shower. That'll be great. And everything should heal nicely. Let's see. Oh yeah, I mentioned Marissa has COVID, right? I do not have COVID. Marissa has COVID. Got COVID when we were on vacation. And she got like old school COVID. Super weak, coughing, temperature, the whole thing. Like couldn't move. And unfortunately she had to do a lot of the barn work because, so didn't have as many volunteers because school just started. People moving around, don't have all the slots helped. People definitely stepped up to the plate. But yeah, so Marissa's at COVID this week, so I have been sequestering myself. I do not have COVID. Tested myself 3 times. It's been a week. Still do not have COVID. Her test very much has COVID. So you can see from the test, Marissa on the left, me on the right. And definitely our community is thinking of us. Look, got a flowers from Farm Bureau that get well for both of us. All right, so it's the day after my surgery and a success. So we'll cast it up and we got a plate in. And it turns out that, the 2 bones should be straight, right? Well, one was like in front of the other, so that's what they straightened out. I'm in less pain now, the day after surgery, than I was before surgery when I was just in my cast. So that's great. And yeah, I've been working on making fists and moving my fingers around. I'm actually able to semi-type, and just now was the first time I was ever able to use my mouse with my right hand. Not well, but better than left hand mousing. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. In about 2 weeks, I'll go in for my stitch removal and they'll take me out of the cast and most likely put me in a splint, but we won't know until then. All right, everybody, here we are 2 weeks later. They were self-dissolving stitches, and you can see the black and blue there, and with some great effort, here we go, as I turn. So squeezing is not a problem, but going up or side to side or down, yeah, that's a problem. So onto the brace. So out of the cast and into the brace. The pain I've been having has actually been my entire arm when I'm not doing anything, like when I'm sleeping or just sitting on the couch. All of a sudden it'll really hurt. And the PA said that's probably actually the weight of the cast. It bothers people, and constantly pulling down, it ends up making it hurt. I also think it still might have something to do with the nerve block. I've got black and blue marks still. And also, I may have been out on the operating table, right? Because it kind of hurts right here. Or this is from the fall. I don't know. But she said live for a couple of weeks, and then if it's still a problem, they'll check it out. But most likely it's that. And Teresa, one of my longtime viewers, friend here, she had asked me a question, and it's something I kind of wanted to put into the context of the recovery of me falling and breaking my wrist and Marissa having COVID is, so what happens around the farm? And of course, nothing changes around the farm. We just have to do the work, but injured, or in this case, Marissa was sick. Marissa still had to clean stalls. There were some people who weren't able to help out, volunteer. I still had to, the next day after surgery, I was still feeding horses. I was still turning out horses with just one hand. Not many of them. Marissa would hand me one, or, I would take one, or help me, at least put the halter on. But, to a, not the same level, but I still had to do stuff. And a couple of days later, hay and all that stuff. Marissa, when she was sick with COVID and didn't have energy, she would just take her time. We had people definitely help out and volunteer, but we still had to do farm stuff, a lot of farm stuff. And Marissa had a horse show in Virginia with one of her students, so she was gone. I've been home alone with the cast and the wrist and all that. I still went to work every day while Marissa was gone. We had volunteers that helped me in the morning bring in horses and help me in the evening turn out horses. And we had people cleaning the barn, so at least had that. But I'd still have to fill in, still have to fill up hay bags, do breakfast, make breakfast, medicine. Some people helped with the medicine, or I would tell them what to do, kind of like a director. And Marissa was at the horse show from a Wednesday to a Sunday. She came home Sunday night and left Monday morning. She is gone this week for the entire week. She's in Kentucky with another student. So I've been home alone with people helping. Farm work doesn't stop. Tough up, kid. Now, for our non-American viewers, this is where it gets interesting, right? So I have health insurance. I work my day job in IT at an agricultural bank. So I have retirement plan and health insurance. The main reason why I work, and plus the, of course, salary, but really it's those things because the farm, of course, generates money. I have, you pay $3,000 out of pocket no matter what. And once you reach that $3,000 in that family plan, so if I go see a doctor, I pay the full price, whatever it is, until I've paid $3,000 for the year. And then it's 80-20 until I reach roughly $6,000. The numbers are actually a little bit higher, but easier for the math, right? So I pay 20% of all bills, and the insurance picks up 80% of all bills until I've paid out of my pocket for the year $6,000. I paid out of pocket this year with the surgery. This surgery paid by the insurance company. So I'm also explaining that to non-Americans. The hospital has contracted rates with all the different insurance companies. So one insurance company might pay for one thing for one service, and another insurance company may pay for another thing for that same service. And you as a consumer who doesn't have insurance will pay a different price, and usually quite a bit higher. So they negotiate all the prices, the insurance companies. The adjusted insurance price for the plate in my wrist was $56,000 to do that procedure. So if I did not have health insurance, I would have paid more than $56,000. The operating room alone was $30,000 to go into the operating room. So it was $56,000. Now, of course, I only paid up to $6,000 for the year. Because this injury happened in the end of September and beginning of October, I have 3 months where I can do anything I want and it won't cost me anything. And then in January, the counter resets. It's per calendar year. It's not per every 12 months, right? So I've got 3 months here where I can go do whatever I want. So last year, I had an MRI done because I was at the 80/20 mark on this arm here. This arm hurts to lift things. I couldn't lift a glass with this, and it still hurts. It's hurt for several years. The 80/20 for the MRI meant that the MRI cost me $200 because MRI is roughly $1,000. They found that there is rips in the sheathing of my muscle. So there is something wrong in the muscle here, and I'm going to see another doctor today because can we do the surgery that I know I need and still have two hands, and can we do it within the end of the calendar year? That's what I'm going to go discuss. So that might be mind-boggling to some of you who just, don't have to think about these things. Or, unfortunately, you may think I'm, bourgeois because I do have the health insurance and it only cost me $6,000 for the year. It could be either way, right? Because plenty of Americans don't have health insurance at all who might be watching. So, yeah. So we'll see what's going on with this thing and whether it can be operated on. And hopefully, because, any kind of up motion hurts. This hurts right now. This is painful. And it's been painful for years. So, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'd give you a hand, but I can't. Take care.